Intro, the prophecies in 1961, the world lost one of its greatest psychologists. But he didn't leave quietly, Carl Gustav. Jung, the man who mapped the human soul, left behind something far more unsettling than theories. He left warnings about a future he would never see, warnings about us, about a world drowning in noise, losing its soul, worshipping illusions, and sliding quietly towards psychological collapse, a world where the inner life dies, replaced by machines, masses, and masks, a world where the individual becomes a ghost. That world is the world we live in today. This is the story of how Carl Jung predicted our future with terrifying accuracy. Part 1, The Age of Masminto. Understand Jung's prophecy. You must understand his greatest fear, not war, not technology, not even evil. Jung feared the loss of the individual, the disappearance of the inner self. He called it the rise of the mass mind, a future where people stop thinking for themselves and start thinking as a collective machine, not as human beings, but as a swarm. Jung wrote, the greatest dangers to mankind are psychic, not physical. He believed society would reach a point where the biggest threat wasn't bombs, but the collapse of meaning. And in 2025, you can see it everywhere. People repeating whatever they hear. Online. People forming identities around trends. People replacing inner beliefs with whatever the crowd wants. People terrified to think independently. This is the exact psychological phenomenon Jung warned about. The loss of the self. He predicted that as society becomes more connected technologically, human beings would become more disconnected spiritually. Every year, we grow more connected, yet millions report they've never felt more alone. Jung saw this coming long before smartphones, social media, or digital tribes existed, but his next prediction was even darker. Part 2, The Rise of the Persona. Jung believed humans wear two faces, the face we show the world and the face we hide from ourselves. He called the first one the persona, the mask, a mask for work, a mask for family, a mask for society, a mask for a PPROVLA, mask for survival. But Jung warned that once a society becomes obsessed with masks, people forget who they really are underneath. He predicted a future where people curate their identities, where human beings build idealized versions of themselves, while their real selves wither away in silence. He said, the persona is a lie that makes us acceptable to others, but eventually unacceptable to ourselves. Today, this prediction is no longer theory. It is everyday reality. Social media is the persona factory. Everyone edits their life, everyone performs, everyone is branding themselves, everyone is terrified of being seen as imperfect. We are living in a psychological theater where authenticity is dangerous and perfection is mandatory. People don't live as themselves. They live as the image of themselves. Jung saw this future clearly. He said the persona would eventually become a prison. And now, millions of people are trapped in it, more depressed, anxious, insecure, and lost than any generation before. The mask became the master. The self became the slave. Part 3, The Shadow. AWAK. But Jung predicted something even more chilling. He said that if the persona grows stronger, the shadow grows darker. The shadow is the part of us we refuse to admit exists, the anger, the envy, the emptiness, the fear, the insecurity, the chaos. Jung warned that a society obsessed with image would push its shadow deep underground until it finally erupts. He wrote, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. He predicted a future where individuals, unable to face their shadow, projected onto the world around them. You can see this prophecy everywhere today. People lashing out online behind anonymous profiles. People attacking strangers for no reason. People filled with rage they don't understand. People unable to tolerate disagreement. People collapsing under the weight of suppressed emotions. The world is not getting angrier. Individuals are suppressing more than ever, and the shadow is leaking out. Jung warned that this projection would eventually create global conflict, cultural division, and psychological fragmentation, he predicted that humanity would reach a point where it doesn't just fear others. It fears itself. Part 4. The godless society. Jung was not talking about religion. He was talking about the inner sacred, the sense of deeper meaning that makes life bearable. He said modern people would become spiritually starved, replacing faith with warned. When the inner world is not honored, people seek gods and external power. He predicted a future where society worships systems, parties, celebrities, and digital idols rather than their own inner truth. Today, people will fight for brands, influencers, and ideologies with more passion than they fight for their own future. People know the lives of strangers, but not their own inner world. People scroll endlessly, but don't know what they truly think, feel, or believe. Jung foresaw this emptiness. He called it the spiritual disorientation of modern man. A future where humans forget the language of the soul. Part 5, the technological DREM. One of Jung's most shocking predictions came from his fear of technology. Not the machines themselves, but what they would turn humans into. He warned that technology would give people godlike power. Without the maturity to handle it, he said, technology would allow humans to manipulate reality, distort identity, and escape every uncomfortable emotion. In 2025, artificial intelligence can write your thoughts. Filters can replace your face. Apps replace conversation. Algorithms tell you what to like. YouTubers replace mentors. Influencers replace parents. Short-form content replaces books. Everything is fast, shallow, and addictive. We're drowning in stimulation, but starving for meaning. Jung predicted this exact turning point. He said the more we rely on technology, the more we would lose the ability to think for ourselves. We have more knowledge than ever, but less wisdom, more access, but less awareness. More communication, but less connection. Humanity has become technologically advanced and spiritually bankrupt. Part 6, the collective BREKDOW. And Jung believed the human psyche has a breaking point, a limit, a threshold. He said if society continues to disconnect humans from their inner world, the unconscious will eventually revolt. He predicted psychological epidemics, depression and crisis. He called it the plague of spiritual emptiness. He wrote, people don't suffer from the world. They suffer from a lack of meaning. And now, global surveys show record depression record, loneliness record, suicide record, substance abuse record, anxiety record, addiction. People feel like something is missing, but they can't explain what. They feel disconnected, but don't know from what. They feel lost, but can't find a map. This is exactly the crisis. Jung predicted humanity is not dying, humanity is forgetting itself. Part 7. Jung's final WR9G shortly before his death. Jung said something haunting. The world will ask you who you are. And if you don't know, the world will tell you. He believed the future would force people to choose. Live as the self alive. As the system wants you to. He predicted that modern life would destroy the individual unless each person consciously works to reconnect with their inner world. Jung did not predict apocalypse. He predicted psychic collapse, a society where people are alive, but not living, connected, but lonely, distracted, but empty, entertained, but spiritually starving. Jung warned that humanity would forget the one place where meaning truly lives, the soul. And now, his prophecy is no longer a warning. It is our reality. Part 8. The HO did not leave us hopeless. He believed the cure was still possible, but only one person at a time. He said, the salvation of the world is in the individual soul. Meaning returns when you face your shadow of the persona, reconnect with your inner truthlessness to the unconscious fellow. Your inner voice pursue purpose instead of distraction, seek wisdom instead of validation, live your own life, not the life others force on you. Jung believed that if even a small number of individuals awaken, they can uplift the entire world. he wrote. The world changes and we change ourselves. This was Jung's real prophecy, not doom, but awakening, a new era of consciousness, a return to meaning. A rediscovery of the soul, outrode the future, is unow. Carl Jung did not predict the future through magic. He saw deeper into the human mind than anyone else in history. He understood our weaknesses, our patterns, our illusions, our desires, our fears, and he understood that if we abandoned the inner world, we would lose ourselves. Today, his warnings echo louder than ever. We are living in the future Jung feared, but also the future he believed we could survive. If we listen, if we reflect, if we awaken.